Thank you.
Please take your seat. Let the audio visual also take it.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome to the family, as we've always said. We look forward to a wonderful relationship. We wish you all the very best. We have very high hopes and expectations from you, and we're very confident that you will fulfill those hopes and expectations, not just of ours and the team, but of the millions of fans that Chennai FC enjoys across this wonderful country and the ISL. Members of the media, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Like Vita said, the last 3 seasons have been very memorable for all of us. Although last season did not meet our expectations, still having one cup in 3 years is, I think, a commendable achievement. With John coming in, we bring in a lot of experience of the game, experience of man management. We also bring in John because of his great experience in similar conditions and handling new young teams. John's keen eye for young talent, which, as you all know, Chennai has always tried to promote. Day after, we go into the player draft, and John, Vita, I will be prepping for that back in Mumbai. And we hope for a good draft, and we hope to be able to come back here with as competitive a team as possible and challenge for the cup once again, because that's what Chennai FC is here to do. We'd like to win. We like to stay one of the most popular teams in the ISL, and we hope not to let our fans down, who have been immense. I'd like to thank the Supermachas, particularly for the warm welcome that they gave John at the airport and for the constant support that the fans of the team have always given. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody that's
Last year as well as this year, I'm trying to learn from them and get better, and I hope that the team also does better this time. Thank you.
And John was very kind to come down, and we spent a couple of days with him, speaking with him. The decision has to be, for Vita and I, has always been two-part. One, technically, is the person going to be able to fulfill what we expect? How can they take the team forward? And secondly, and as importantly, is what kind of person are they? Are they going to fit into the Chennai family? That is something Vita and I hold very high up in our priority list. And we were very happy when we met John, because he was somebody who was ready to, get down, get dirty, and make it happen. And that's an attitude which I really appreciated. Coupled with his immense experience in England and all around the world, playing with all kinds of talent, all kinds of teams, all ages of teams. Like I also said, John is very keen on young talent and giving them a chance and helping rear them to hopefully break into the senior squad, which is something we believe in as well. These are all qualities which we were looking for, which, thankfully John ticked all those boxes. So I think, tactically speaking, his experience and his, his CV speaks for itself. He is a coach of immense respect in our eyes, and we were very happy to shake hands and welcome him to the family. But I think, apart from that, there is a certain attitude that anybody associated with Chennai FC must have. And the happiest thing for Vita and I is that he is exactly that kind of person, the kind of leader that we wanted at this club to take it forward.
Next question.
Year by year, it's getting better, and I think with the foreign players that have come, I think it's helped the young domestic players to learn about the game, to learn about the professional side of the game, and I think you can tell it with the national team. The national team, I think, we're about 132 in the world. They're now up in close to 100 now. And I think that is testament really to a lot of the foreign coaches and a lot of the foreign players that have come here. And the players now, they watch the Premier League, obviously, from Europe, La Liga and the Bundesliga, and they learn from that, and they're getting the opportunity now to produce it on the field. And as I said earlier, the fact that each team now has to play with 6 domestic players is only good for Indian football. So they're getting better, and I've obviously seen Indian players now playing in the ISL, and each season they're getting better and better. So if you look at it, 3 or 4 years further down the line, I think you will have more and more domestic players that are playing bigger parts in the ISL.
Every season, Chennai banks on some players like Mendoza in previous seasons. Who do you believe this season will come out as a strike player for Chennai FC?
Well, obviously we've signed 2 players, a goalkeeper and JJ up front. I think JJ has proved himself at international level, and for us it was a no-brainer to extend his contract and make sure that somebody else didn't take him away from us. So we're delighted that we've got him and our goalkeeper on longer-term contracts. So keep an eye on these 2 in particular. The reason that we've given them better contracts and improved their contract is because we don't want anyone else to have them, and we think very, very highly of them. But obviously Shabir is here with me. Shabir is in charge of our grassroots football that our club Chennai have invested a lot of money in, a lot of time in, to produce better players, domestic players, and we now are in the districts that we cover now in the country has been huge. We came in here from nothing. We're in the schools and everything. We're just trying to produce more and more footballers, and Shabir is playing a huge part in that. Worked under a guy called Terry Venables, who went on to manage the national team and did exceptionally well. And I learned from him so much. Can you shut those guys up at the back? Somebody. I learned a huge amount from Terry. He played a major influence on me. He was the one that told me while I was still playing to be thinking about coaching, if that's where I was going to go one day, to focus. And I asked him, when should I start thinking about coaching? He said, now. So I ended up going home, writing down everything in the exercise books. I still got them to this day, you know. All Terry's training methods, of some of his tactics that he used to show to us, and I just copied lots of things from him, but obviously then used my own ways. I changed things around and altered them to suit myself. So I didn't copy everything from him, you know. And just once I got the chance to put on these sessions in training and incorporate my philosophy on certain things, obviously I moved on to the likes of Aston Villa, where I was working for a huge club with huge players, with huge egos, and I think that possibly was taught me so many things in how to deal with people in particular. So, you know, I think the boys that I'm going to be working with throughout this season, I'll always be a fair man. I'm not always the easiest man to please, but I'd like to think, as I said earlier, that everybody has to commit themselves totally to the club. You know, I don't want them to be here part-time. When they play for us, they have to wear that shirt. When they put on the blue shirt of Chennai, they have to earn the right to wear that shirt, and they'll get selected. But, you know, I know that earlier on we spoke about the young players at the club. I like to think that I'm the sort of guy that will give people a chance, and I'll give them a second chance as well. I remember many years ago I put a young boy by the name of Darius Vassell in the first team. He was only 17 at the time, and I put him in the first team at Aston Villa, and I actually just told him that you're going to play the next 5 games. And I think that was one of the best things I ever did. It enabled him to relax. He knew that if he didn't play well, he was still going to play for the next 5 matches. And I think you have to give that to the young. You have to support them, and particularly domestic players who are probably in awe of some of the foreign stars that come to Indian football. And I'd like to think that they will understand that if they get the opportunity to play, I will put them in the team. I don't think twice about putting domestic players in the side. And age doesn't matter to me. If they're good enough, they're young enough.
We'll take one last question, if I yes.